Purpose Room. She'll be there, well taken care of, I'm sure, by the 4th and 5th graders. And Mrs. Saxon, who has the smallest classroom with 14 students, will be moved to the stage area. The stage was originally designed for the purpose of a music room. So we've got everything there ready to go. They've got desks and chairs, and then we'll be installing smart technology. So we'll be able to run that as a classroom. And then for people that were concerned about band and strings instruments, those were all okay. They were unharmed. I'll be relocating those to a locked cabinet in the multi-purpose room, and we'll be having band and strings in the multi-purpose room. Some of our specialists will be shifted in the building and may have to have specials on carts, but that's been done in the past. I've been around for a long time, and we used to have art and music traveling from room to room, and it can work and does work. So we'll do that as a temporary fix. I wanted to also let you know that we do have plans on Tuesday for taking the children, especially the ones that are going to a new area, back to their classroom. We'd like all the kids to arrive between 8 and 8:20 when the final bell rings. They will go immediately to the gym like they always do. And from there, we will have their classroom teachers. Every classroom teacher will pick up their class and take them back to the room. That includes all the other, not kindergarten through 5th grade. Every teacher will pick up their class. We'd like for parents not to be there at this time. We're trying to return to normalcy. The kids are used to that. And if we have a lot of parents in the building, it could create some chaos. So we'd like to reunify the kids in that manner. Also on Monday, I know we really, really appreciate all the love and help and support that you've offered, but we have decided as a staff that it would be best if we move forward with our plan ourselves without having lots of parents and people in the building. We want to stay focused, and we're trying to get things done. The one thing I've learned from a disaster is you're tugged in 100 different ways, and the main thing that you have to do, though, is stay focused. You know what your purpose is, and you have to stick to that plan. For 4th and 5th grade parents, we had scheduled a meeting for cyber safety and internet safety, and that will be canceled and rescheduled at a later date. I also wanted to let you know that teacher conferences will take place as normal, and including Mrs. Torres's preschool, they will be held at Green Springs. Mrs. Torres will be having her conferences in my office. Thank you. And we know that that's so important to have them in the building because they have older siblings who have already scheduled those conferences back to back. So we want to make sure that everybody's together in the building for their conferences. I have several talking points if you need to find my next one. Donations. Lots of people have offered donations. I've given a very specific list to my PTO board, and they are fielding that. I would like everybody to stick to that list. That's what we know that we need. And, you know, I was telling them it's really wonderful and nice that we get 300 boxes of crayons, and we don't need 300 boxes of crayons. That really doesn't help. So if we can stick to that list and try to focus on what we really need, that would be very helpful. PTO, you'll hear more from the PTO board after Tuesday night when they organized and we had a chance to meet. And that being said, I think I've covered just about everything, so I'll introduce Mrs. Halford, who has some wonderful plans for you to discuss with children.
Hello, everybody. It's so great to see you. We are so excited that it's such a great turnout. It means so much to us. We know that Green Springs is a great family, but you're proving that just by being here and supporting us today with such a gentle and kind manner that you guys do, and so supportive of us. We really appreciate that. I had a green handout for you when you came in. I tried to keep it pretty brief about some guided steps for you as you're talking with your kids, because truly this is what you would call a crisis, and I don't think I've had to address this since 9/11, so it was whipping out some old material. But in updating it about how to talk with your child about what happened, I know that it's, a couple days past, and so you probably, obviously, already have talked with them. But one of the things that I'm going to request of you after you leave here today, and you've kind of got the facts, the news, as you're finding out, is not always the most factual about all the details. And so I'd love for you, from Dr. Berry and Dr. Trauber to really hone into what they were telling you and our awesome cops and fire department. But one of the things I'm going to ask of you today or sometime this weekend before children come back to school is to have a family meeting. And I'm going to give you some tips about some things I'd like for you to discuss with them at that time. But the number one thing you can do is remain calm and positive. Kids take their cues for their emotions from us. And so if you're hysterical or you're, thinking of all the worst case scenarios, they're going to be feeding into that. And they're going to come to school Tuesday talking about all that. And so make sure that as an adult, as the parent, you're remaining calm and in control. If you have to go to the bedroom and close the door like I did, when you have to cry, do that. But when you're in the presence of your children, try and, step up and be that control for them and that calm. In terms of talking with your child, hold a family meeting, give simple facts. Please remember that these are elementary students. They are children, they're not adults, and so too much information is too much for them. They don't need that much. Keep it simple and stick with the facts. Please limit TV. TV and media, kids just sitting there watching that is just inundating them, and it's really too much for them to process. So, limit what they're getting through the media. Keep it from your mouth, because if you're not going to talk to somebody else's, and you want the facts coming from you. I loved it, Miss Positive at Green Springs, but keep it positive. Think of, I hate to say this, but if you're going to have the situation we did, it really was the best case scenario you're going to have it. The fire doors worked. It was burning for a while, but it didn't do, extensive damage like we thought it would. And so, and Mr. Bob is like our hero, I know a lot of kids. Mr. Bob in the shadows. But my heart leapt for joy because I knew, he gets there at 6 and I knew he was doing his walkabout and taking care of our school and that he was safe. I had several parents, say their kids were worried about Mr. Bob because he is a beloved favorite at our building. And he was perfectly safe, and he's been working so hard at Green Springs to support and get the outside ready and the physical building on the outside ready for your kids. We weren't in school. How awesome is that? And it was kind of one of those days where I was not sure if we were going to call off or not because of the cold. So it was truly a blessing. It really was. But the other thing is keep your talk developmentally appropriate. Just some hints for early elementary. So this is to about 8 or so. Usually there's some brain development changes around that age that happen. But to about 8, keep it brief, simple, balanced with reassurance that they're safe. And they're going to be more worried about the structure of the building. So keep that it's safe, that they're not going to do anything that would put you in harm, and keep the structure of their life the same. Yes, life has kind of changed for them, but keep the structure of their life, the same. For upper elementary, they're obviously, if you have one, they're more vocal, and they think about every scenario that could possibly be there. And so, with those upper elementary and those 4th and 5th grade teachers, you know this, that it's just fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. Try and keep their thoughts real. So try and balance the reality and the fantasy with what's real. And then be sure to address their concerns about safety. But again, keep your facts brief and simple. Don't sit there and speculate who did it, how it happened, all that with your kids. They just don't need to know that, okay? All right, so obviously address safety, and always, you've probably heard me say this 100 times, validate their feelings. Don't blow it off that, there's nothing to be scared about, Say, that is kind of scary, but you know what? We're going to be just fine. And your teachers, Mrs. Key or Mrs. Saxon or whoever there is going to make your room awesome, and they're going to keep you safe, and Dr. Trauber is going to make sure that building is safe. Okay, third point, remind them that trustworthy people are in charge. A big thing is listing the people by name, not just saying your teachers. It's saying, Dr. Berry and the school district is going to make sure that this and this and this happens. Dr. Trauber is going to do this to keep you safe. Mrs. H is there if you're upset at school. You know, if you have questions, so that they're seeing those people. This is what the cops did. You know, this is what the firemen did. They did their jobs. They kept us safe. Those kind of things. Addressing those trustworthy people that we have so many that are in charge of the situation. And then last thing is keep a normal routine. I know it's easy to get helter-skelter, especially with all these snow days and now, you know, Monday, but try and keep a normal routine. One of the biggest things that you can do is bedtime. If you're going to see, if I anticipated any interruption you would see in your child, it would probably be bedtime and sleeping. Nightmares, things like that. If you keep that bedtime routine, kind of even maybe specialize it right now, make it a little more close, read a book with them, develop some of that bonding right at bedtime.